So let us discuss the question. How would you describe Coach Mike Vrabel's Patriots, the performance that we saw? Patriots don't play a lot of these primetime games, so how would you describe the performance of Mike Vrabel's Patriots in the Monday night game? So I've got U.S. military, dance class, and nature documentary. And we will combine all of these things together, and we're going to make pulled barbecue chicken sandwiches we're going to make. And they're going to be freaking delicious, and you're going to love them, and you're going to get a little baked potato action going, the whole thing. All right, so.
Yummy!
Yeah, this was what we call a boom box game for the Patriots. It was a boom box game. It did not go the way I anticipated the game would go, but that's why they play the games. That's why they play the games there. Mike Vrabel turning the volume up on that boom box to 11, all the way up to 11, smashing the base there and really sticking it to the Giants and putting them in the food processor and setting it to puree in the first half of this game as it was over at halftime. Game was over. They pigged out on a bad opponent. That's what good teams do, beat bad teams convincingly. And it was like a midweek buffet special for the Patriots. Of course, not midweek, the end of the week, end of the weekend, beginning of the new week. So New England, what they did is they met expectations. They met expectations, period, full stop. They were supposed to win by a lot. They won by a lot. And this was a team that was a heavy favorite, the Patriots coming into this game, the kind of a game that if you look at it on a tablet, you say, well, this was actually a classic trap spot. And if you watched Benny versus the Penny on YouTube, we talked about it on the TV show. We discussed it, that you had the Thanksgiving hangover. You had the bye week looming, the final week of the byes is upcoming for the Patriots and the Giants as well, some other teams. But the bye week is coming up for them, so they're going to be in Cancun on vacation. And then you've also got, in addition to that, a makeshift offensive line, a couple of starters gone from the Patriots offensive line. And the offensive line they tossed out there looked like it was something that was built from IKEA, and it was not built following the instructions. You just kind of put it together there. But none of that mattered. Not an ounce of that mattered. It didn't matter in this game. Mike Vrabel's squad comes in here and with a level-headed approach, blue collar, I don't know, blue collar, again, these guys are all rich, but that mindset that we always talk about, just, take care, do your job, what Belichick used to say. And then they flipped on the boom box again. They cranked up the volume a little higher, and they hit the Bachman-Turner overdrive. Taking care of business is what they did. That was what they did. They took care of business. Exactly what you would expect them to do. They did. No frills, no real razzle-dazzle other than the special teams play. But it was a scorched earth policy. And the first half of this game, barbaric is the word. They were barbaric in the first half of the game. Talking U.S. military style, by land, by sea, by air. In this case, by offense, by defense, by special teams, all phases of the game. Body blow, body blow, body blow. And by the time we got to halftime, it was 30-7 at halftime. 30-7. 30-7 at halftime, and there was a obese woman, a fat lady was singing. And right there, before the 2-minute warning in the first half, she was singing. And there you go. Turn out the lights, the party's over. So a woodshed job by the Patriots in this game. They turned the Giants into mulch is what they did. They turned them into mulch. Now, as for the hardware, a lot of discussion. MVP. Well, Matthew Stafford had a dud in his game. He was the MVP favorite coming into the weekend. Rams lost to Carolina. That's embarrassing. So here's Drake Maye's opportunity to show the world that he's Mr. MVP. MVP. So the question, now the morning after, or the few hours after the game here as we're talking, after that Monday Night Football win, Patriots quarterback Drake Maye, his 2025 MVP campaign, better, worse, or the same? Drake Maye's MVP campaign this season, now 13 weeks into the campaign, on the campaign trail, are things better, worse, or the same? All right, so I'm going to go first. I don't think we should overthink this. Drake Maye gave a simpatico performance on the Monday night game. He was great. He completed almost 80% of his passes, averaged 9 yards per pass, had a couple of touchdowns, didn't have any mistakes, no turnovers, and had a solid stat line across the board. Very clean, polished performance by Drake Maye. NFL quarterbacking 101. 101. He was basically the valedictorian of error-free football, which is important. Nevertheless, I would say in terms of the actual meat of the matter, let's pump the brakes on this somehow being a climbing of the ladder situation. I didn't see it that way, and it could not have been. Why? Because of the opponent. You played the Giants. They blow. They're 2-10. They benched their top defensive player, didn't even play the first quarter of the game where you jumped out to a massive lead, and they came in there, and it's like the Giants, they play in the Northeast. It gets cold in New York. It was 30 degrees at kickoff, and it was just kind of, you wanted to sit inside somewhere. You wouldn't be outside. They played like snowmen in that way. There was no snow, but they played like it. They looked like they needed jumper cables, the Giants, and get in their stand. They got their doors smashed in this one. And so, but you don't really win an MVP contest. You don't win points and gain ground. If you look at the exit polling, you don't gain ground by beating up the Lazy Bones Brigade from the Giants. A lot of lazy bones there. So it was really dance class. And Drake Maye, he did the sideways shuffle. Do the shuffle now. You got to do the shuffle, the sideways shuffle. Not a moonwalk. He didn't moonwalk forward. Didn't do that in the MVP race. He certainly did not do a pratfall. That didn't happen. Didn't go backwards. More like stay in your lane. He stayed in his lane, put on cruise control, self-driving situation, and just kind of waved politely at everyone who was outside. And look, I'm driving. I'm actually not driving. The car's driving itself. And so the Maller mantra, which we have preached from the bully pulpit for many, many years here, is you don't get extra credit for doing what you're supposed to do. Like, you're a big favorite at home. You're supposed to win the game against an inferior opponent that clearly has quit. That's a bunch of gutless Giants players. So, hey, do what you're supposed to do. They did. So the verdict, not better for Drake Maye on the campaign trail, not worse. The same. And so it was more of a maintenance night situation. No Heisman House moment. No Heisman House moment here. All right.